In this module, we will discuss lime and fertilization. Fertilization is done to add nutrients to the soil for optimum turf health, color, and thickness. We determine how much fertilizer is needed in an area through annual soil testing. Fertilizers are labeled with 3 numbers that indicate the percentage by weight of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. This number is called the fertilizer grade. When applying fertilizers, it is important to make sure you apply at the proper rates and with equipment that is properly calibrated. Over-applying can cause injury to the turf, people, and our water supply. Not applying enough will yield poor turf quality and result in the waste of time, money, and the need to retest and reapply. It is also important to apply the product evenly to the turf area. Otherwise, the areas that receive more fertilizer will become darker green and grow faster, leaving the appearance of dark green, fluffy streaks in the turf. When moving through the area, you should aim to throw the product to the wheel marks of your neighboring paths. This will ensure even coverage. The time of year that fertilizer is applied is also very important. In our region, cool season turf can be fertilized in March, September, and November. This is the time of year that it will be most quickly taken up by the plant, and the environmental conditions are the most favorable for new and rapid plant growth. Applying fertilizers to cool season turf at other times of the year can cause stress to the plant, as well as cause significant pollution to our waterways, as the materials are unlikely to be broken down and unlikely to be absorbed by the slower growing plants. Instead, the material will wash directly into our water systems. Warm season turf should be fertilized in June for the same reasons. In order for any plant to take up the nutrients that are in the soil, the pH of the soil must be at a proper level. The annual soil testing that tells us the levels of present nutrients also tells us the current pH of the soil. The proper pH for optimum turf growth is 6.2. pH levels will change throughout the year due to annual rain, microbiotic activity, incorporation of leaf litter, or the lack thereof in general soil aging. Applying lime to the soil will help raise the pH to the optimum level. The rates will vary depending on the liming product you use. In general, 12 pounds of a highly concentrated lime product per 1,000 square feet will elevate the pH of the soil by half of a point over 10 to 12 weeks. At that time, another soil sample should be taken to see if another lime application is needed. When it is the proper time of the season for lime and fertilizer applications, your manager will tell you what materials you need to apply, how much, and on what properties. Only load the material that you will need for that day. Loading excess materials wastes time, and hauling the extra weight of the unneeded material wastes fuel. If it rains during the day or during the night on unloaded materials, that material can be wasted. The proper PPE to wear when applying lime and fertilizer include long pants, long sleeves, gloves, and safety glasses. The necessary record-keeping required for fertilizer applications will be captured on your tablet if you correctly input your information for the day. These items include name of customer and address of application site, name of person making the application, date of application, plants treated, turf or ornamentals, fertilizer grade and amount applied, and type of application equipment used. It is critically important that all materials that end up on the impervious surface, sidewalk, roadway, cement area, be swept up and taken away or blown back into the turf area being treated. We must take every measure possible to avoid materials washing into drains. Always load your spreader on a hard surface and not in the turf in case of spillage while loading. It is much easier to clean up the spilled material from a hard surface versus one covered with turf or other vegetation. If you do happen to spill while you are in the turf area, take every measure to clean up as much as you possibly can. Damage to the turf where you have spilled will occur. Use special care when applying near bodies of water. Do not apply product to the area within 3 feet of the water line if dense turf is present. If the turf is thin near the water, then you need to stay even further away from the edge of the water. The goal is to avoid putting material down where there is no vegetation to take it up and no vegetation to hold it in place against wind, rain, and irrigation while it breaks down. Soil fertilizer prescriptions are most often written based on the amount of nitrogen needed. This is the nutrient that moves through the soil the fastest. If your soil sample says apply 2 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet, and the fertilizer you have has a grade of 10, 12, 10, then you need to do a quick calculation to find out how much of your fertilizer you need to put down to achieve the prescribed rate of 2 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. This is done by taking the amount needed per 1,000 square feet, which is 2, and dividing it by the nitrogen number from the fertilizer grade, which is 10, written as a decimal, so 0.10. 2 divided by 0.10 equals 20, so 20 pounds of 10, 12, 10 fertilizer every 1,000 square feet is needed to apply at a rate of 2 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. The spreader comes with a list of settings. Each setting indicates a specified rate. For example, the Lesco spreader model SGN 9011 needs to be set at the D or the 14 setting to apply at the rate of 2 pounds per 1,000 square feet. The spreader settings can be distorted over time due to the wear and tear from loading, transport, and use. Therefore, you should always check the opening of the spreader holes with the spreader calibration key before each application.